Hi, and welcome back to Purify Your Purpose, Episode 2. I am so grateful for all of the feedback that I got from Episode 1. I got so many people reaching out to me and such great support. But I did get a lot of people that felt sad for me for what I went through. And me telling my story was not to get sympathy. Me telling my story is because it helped me shape me into who I am today. So I wanted to dive in a little deeper on my story and talk about the people who helped shape me into the person that I am today. If you were to ask me if I could go back and change anything in my life, what would I change? I honestly would say nothing. Everything that I went through in my life helped form and shape me into who I am today. I had to go through those life experiences. I had to go through those struggles and those heartbreaks and feeling alone and asking God why in order for me to learn and be who I am. One of the biggest people that I looked up to growing up is someone that I didn't have a good relationship with when I was a kid. My mom. My mom was 13 when she had me. She didn't finish junior high. We didn't have the best relationship because we were only 13 years apart. We were like sisters. But one thing that my mom always did was push to be a better version of herself. And now that I'm older and I can look back on those years, I look up to my mom and I am so inspired because I got to see my mom grow, honestly, out of everyone. I saw my mom from when she was at her lowest point in her life to who she is today. And she is a phenomenal woman. She has her master's degree. She's a principal and she is doing great things in her life. I truly learned resilience from my mom. My parents had me at a very young age. They were on a very similar path. That was not a good path. But my mom taught me that your choices in life are who define you, not your past. My mom chose to break generational cycles. My mom chose not to let becoming a young teen mom define her. My mom did not let even having a GED stop her from getting top-notch education. I mean, she got her master's degree at ASU and is a principal. And this isn't to shame my biological father. When I moved in with my mom, when I was 6 years old, she got married and she had more kids. I did not mention this in the first episode, but I am the oldest of 13 kids. Yes, the oldest of 13. I have a very big family. So my mom got married and I grew up with my stepdad and my grandpa as my father figures in my life. My stepdad and my grandpa are very similar and they are truly my all-time favorite people. They are both Pisces. They are the most gentle giants. I always, since I was a kid, always found comfort in them. I would always talk to them about whatever I was going through in life, whether it was boys, drama with girls at school, interviews and finding a job and, just everything in life. Those are the two people that I would run to. My dad raised me even after my mom and him got divorced. He raised me as his own. And that taught me that it truly does take a village to raise a child. And family is not blood. Family are the people that choose you and that continue to choose you on your worst days, on your best days, in the days where you have nothing to offer them. That's who your family is. My stepdad, he taught me unconditional love. I always felt so much unconditional love from him. And with my stepdad, I met my grandparents. And anytime that I talk about my grandparents, I honestly just get the biggest smile because they are your grandparents in a book, in a movie. I absolutely love my grandparents. I hands down had the best grandparents, and I truly believe that my mom was very blessed to have the village that she did because I had all of my grandparents were literally amazing. So my dad's parents, my grandma Deborah and my grandpa Rick, they are pastors. So I grew up going to church every Sunday, every Wednesday. I was in choir. I was on the church dance team. We were the pastor's grandkids. We were dressed up in the biggest, poofiest dresses every Sunday. And we had our hair curled and we were it was fun. And my grandparents, it was inspiring seeing how many people looked up to them. And hearing my grandpa talk about God and the way that he preached, still to this day, he is my favorite pastor to listen to. And I still call him till this day just to hear his life lessons or his wisdom. But I was very close to my grandma. So my grandpa was always studying. He was always preparing for the next sermon. So we spent a lot of our time with my grandma. And my grandma had a daycare. So in the summers, we would spend our summer vacation a lot of the times with my grandma Deborah and being at her school. And seeing my grandma always having ideas, always planning the next event. At the church, she was planning Christmas balls, fundraisers, back to school events, the biggest Easter parties, Christmas plays. Like she was always planning and then seeing her run a daycare, and she was the definition of a true entrepreneur and then a woman that is involved in the community. And then I got to see my grandma Denise, my biological dad, his mom. So when I would visit my dad in prison, my grandma was the one that I would always spend time with and who would take me to go visit my dad. And my grandma at the time was married to a millionaire, so I experienced the most luxurious lifestyle with her. And it opened my eyes, and that is what made me want to have the lifestyle that I have today and the dreams that I have today. My grandma truly taught me to have a vision and to never settle and to push, because you can have anything that you want in life. When I would go with my grandma, we would go on the most lavish vacations. We'd go to Disney World, Universal, swim with dolphins. She would take me to the top-notch restaurants in Chicago. We'd be eating at Skyline restaurants and take me to the back of the restaurant and tell the chef exactly what I wanted because I was such a picky eater. And I hate myself for it now because I'm still picky, but not as picky. Like, I'm not like a little kid picky. But my grandma was a manicurist, so she was always doing rich people's nails, and I was her best friend did hair, so I was in and out of the salon growing up when I was visiting her. I would come back to my mom and my family where we did struggle. There was 10 of us in a 2-bedroom apartment growing up. When I was 16 years old, I was sharing a twin bed with my 16-year-old stepsisters. So it was a huge difference, and I loved being exposed to that different life because it also pushed me like, I don't want to struggle, and I want my kids to have these experiences that my grandma was giving me, and going on these type of trips and shopping sprees and stuff like that. It was completely an eye opener for me. Every single person in my life gave me something. My mom taught me resilience. My stepdad taught me unconditional love, and that it does take a village to raise kids. My grandpa taught me kindness. And then I had my grandma Vicky growing up. My grandma is my mom's mom. And she is a tough woman. I will tell you that. My grandma Vicky was a provider though. My grandpa got sick at around the time that I moved in with my mom, so I was about 6 years old. He was an electrician and he could no longer work, so he was on disability, and my grandma was the breadwinner. And seeing how my grandma, especially moving back in with her when I was 16 years old, seeing how much of a provider she was, and a woman at that, it it inspired me, and it taught me that women too can have the strength and be a provider. My grandma had amazing work ethic. I actually went to work with her in the summertime and did some work at her job, and seeing my grandma just always just working so hard to provide. And we had a big family. My grandma probably has like 40 grandkids. Again, I'm the oldest at 13, and that's just from my mom's side. My grandma had 4 daughters, and all of her daughters had kids too. So you can imagine how many grandkids my grandma has. And she bought for everyone. Christmas was just a huge tradition in our family. It was big. Every year we'd all get together and make Christmas cookies, and Thanksgiving, Halloween. I mean, my grandma was very family oriented and taught me the importance of family. Remember, your story isn't meant to hold you back. Your story is meant to teach you, educate you, lead you towards your purpose. Don't let your past become your identity. Choose to break cycles. Choose forgiveness. Choose growth. Every struggle has to teach you something. Now, before I go, I want to ask you, what are you purifying this season in your life? Now, I mentioned before, I am purifying doubting myself, being afraid of telling my story. What are you purifying? Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you guys in the next episode.